Captain Castine in beautiful downtown Rouses Point. A little while now. Guard members, tell us.
We're watching the Coast Guard bring the flag off their dock up the village parking lot with the couple members of the American Legion and the fire department. The Coast Guard will be handing the flag off to the American and the fire department.
Okay, what is this?
Patriot Flag, and this is a flag that is 30 by 60 feet and in 50 weeks, and it's such an honor for Rouses Point to have it. Tom Middleton, who is the regional coordinator for Vermont, made a call one day and asked me if we would like it to come here, and I said absolutely. And it's going to be on 9/11. It will be memorial in Pennsylvania at the crash site and also at the Pentagon. And all the first and second responders and all the men and women who are continuing today to fight the war on terror.
Okay, from here they're going to bring it to the fire station, is that correct?
Yes, and they will uncrate it, they will unfold it, and St. Paul is coming down with their ladder truck, and it will be flown from St. Paul's truck. Tonight we are going to be ceremony, and we have Scouts and Girl Scouts and color guard from the various fire departments and legions, and there's some ladies from the DAR coming, and everybody's invited to come. Special. And
Thank you. This is the scene in front of the village office as the flag makes its way down Lake Street on this July 1st. Don't know if we've introduced the date yet. It's July 1st, 2011. We won't be able to be at the location when the flag arrives, obviously. John Huckrow that Jerry was talking about. Time principal here at Rouses Point Elementary. Later became a village trustee. And he passed away about 10-12 days ago now. So he was on the village board when all this was being talked about. So she was talking about John Huckrow being up in heaven and helping to make things happen here as far as the weather. We're expecting Gordy Little momentarily. We were told, we kept checking, double checking. As of 9:15 last night, we were told it wouldn't arrive here until 7:30. So we got here about 12 after, no, actually about 10 after, I guess, 7, and found out that it had arrived, so we didn't get to see the boat actually come through and land. I didn't see the boat docking, but we did get to see the flag being carried, and we're going to continue with the ceremonies here on this July 1st, 2011, a very special day in the village of Rouses Point, New York.
Hi. At 5 morning when I had my first hot cup of coffee. It's an extreme pleasure for me to be a part of this presentation at Rouses Point of the Patriot Flag, which started in San Diego in August of last year. We'll visit 50 states in 50 weeks until it ends up back in California, commemorating those losses from 9/11 in New York, first and second responders and all the others. Here at the Rouses Point Fire Station on Lake Street in Rouses Point, firemen are here. The Legion members are here from Rouses Point. I understand the flag itself in that container on the back of the truck was taken off the boat this morning, and Calvin was there. It will be put on the ground and carried over in front of fire truck engine number 1303 here at the Rouses Point Fire Station. And that will be the extent of this morning's festivities until eventually the flag is raised. We've seen some of the masts on a few of the fire trucks around the country where they have had a long enough mast to put this flag up. Calvin probably told you how big it is, right, Calvin? Jerry Favreau told you that it's 50 by what, 35 or something, 30 something?
55 and a half by 30.
By 55 and a half by 30, so it's a very large flag. It's that time of year, so I think it's absolutely appropriate that the Patriot Flag arrives in Rouses Point on the 4th of July weekend. Let's watch the festivities as the flag is removed. It's about 150 pounds, if you'd like to know how much that box is. See the muscles? Look at the stickers on the case. Isn't that wonderful? Handles on all four corners and on the bottom. It not only commemorates the people who lost their lives at 9/11, but also celebrates the efforts of all of our military who are serving around the world, the first and second responders, those who helped at 9/11, those who helped here in Rouses Point during emergencies of all kinds. We understand there was some kind of a structure fire north of the border this morning, otherwise our neighbors to the north would have been here at this time, and they expect to be here in a little while. It's in real time, it's 20 minutes before 8 on July 1st, 2011. A little difference since Calvin and I were here with our cameras the last time, Calvin, there was a little water in the streets back in those days. As I pulled up to the village offices this morning at 7:30, I said, this is way better. We couldn't even drive behind the building back then. And since that time, thousands of people around the world have watched Calvin's Hometown Cable video footage of the recent floods in the spring of 2011 around Lake Champlain, the city of Plattsburgh, and Point of Fair, and all the other spots north and south. So this is, the word auspicious is used quite often to describe important occasions like this, but for Calvin and I and so many Patriots here in the North Country, this is an auspicious occasion to have the Patriot flag right here in Rouses Point.
They're going to put it right on this little lawn here that's adjacent to the fire station and my brother-in-law Bruce Anktill's home. So what they're going to do is put a fire truck in back of it also, so when it hangs, it won't be near the ground. So people wanting to take pictures, there'll be a fire truck behind it, and you'll have the two ladder trucks. So that's scheduled to take place at 9 a.m., which is a little over an hour from when we're here talking, and hopefully the sun will stay out. We had some bad weather forecast, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty good day.
It's going to be okay. Will it stay throughout the entire weekend? Do we know?
No, it's just here for today. They're going to have a ceremony.
Oh, no kidding. What a shame. It won't be here for the big shindig.
It's got a lot
places to go. Oh, yes, it does.
And we got to thank Tom Middleton. Hopefully, I don't know if Tom will be here this morning. I know he'll be here this evening. But we're going to thank Tom Middleton for arranging this and including Rouses Point in his activities.
It's nice to have a little Northern New York community involved in the stopover for the Patriot flag, because it's been doing some moving. How was it this morning when you got here?
Oh, it was very warm. It's cooled off a few degrees here now that the sun's behind the clouds. It was very warm and sunny and perfect. Ideal picture weather.
That's wonderful. How tall the aerials are here?
They can get up there.
We'll find out, won't we?
Oh yeah, they can get up that high.
Generally, they can get up. I know they have 13-story buildings, the high rises in Plattsburgh, and their aerials are high enough to go to the top. So that's about 130 feet. We're recording this at, now it's 13 minutes before 8 on the first day of July 2011 on Lake Street in Rouses Point at the Rouses Point Fire Station. The Patriot flag is in a crate, a large trunk, and it will be raised here on the lawn at the fire station to be available for viewing.
Hopefully they'll have something here to slow the traffic down, because once this flag gets raised, you're going to have a lot of people looking up in the air, in the sky, instead of looking on the street. So
this flag is so big that it will garner your attention as you're flying by.
Yes.
Also block the entire view in that direction, I'm sure.
Yeah, they did raise the ladder trucks up a while back, and then somebody drove down the street just to see how far away they could see it.
Oh yes, for a long distance.
And most of Rouses Point will, unless you're right close up to a house or a tree or something, but
yes,
if you're in an open space, you will have an opportunity to see it flying.
There'll be lots of still photographs. But I also want to point out, while I have this opportunity, Calvin, that there aren't too many media here this morning.
I'm a little surprised, but they'll probably show up around 9. That's when the official raising will be, and for a newspaper or for somebody like the local TV stations to come here and spend 2 hours, it just doesn't fit in their time frame. Fortunately, it fits in our time frame. They're moving the flag again, and
there it goes.
Truck out, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wouldn't denigrate any other media outlets, but I do want to point out how diligent Calvin is with Hometown Cable and these cameras in covering so many of these local things that are not covered thoroughly by the other local media. And it pleases me to have been a part of this whole operation with Hometown Cable and our little corner program for now 14 years, if that is at all possible. So that very often when you'll get just a brief announcement of it, or maybe a single picture or a little radio voice audio clip or television clip, we'll try to cover the entire event. And as long as we have life and breath, we'll do that far into the future, we hope, with your financial and verbal support. Well, we got the right people here now. Tom Laundrie, how are you?
Good. How are you, Gordy?
Lovely day in the North Country. The sun's poking through the clouds.
It is. It's a nice day.
Good day to have the Patriot Flag in town, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's
going to be great.
This is a big deal for all of us.
It is.
Can't wait to see that baby flying, can you?
It is. I can't wait either. It's going to be huge.
What's the role of the Rouses Point Police Department in this whole thing?
The Rouses Point Police Department, the role in it is to keep people safe, make sure everybody's having fun, having a good time, make sure everybody's all right, help out where we can help out.
I mention it every year. When I first moved here to go to work on the radio 50 years ago, in 1961,
yeah,
I said, where do I go on the 4th of July? You know where everybody pointed?
Rouses Point.
Rouses Point.
Yeah, it's a good time for
never
everybody.
Forget those celebrations from the very beginning. So isn't it appropriate that this flag get here on the 4th of July weekend?
It is, Gordy.
This is Canada Day. We'll have a lot of visitors down here from north of the border. We expected a fire department from north of the border, but they had an emergency this morning and went to a fire, but they'll be down after a while.
Exactly.
Calvin and I were saying, once that flag gets on the air, there's going to be a lot of people slowing down to gawk here, and so
that's for sure.
The police department will be busy trying to keep traffic moving and keeping things safe up here on Lake Street.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. Rouses Point isn't the biggest police department in the United States.
No, we only got 3 personnel.
But you know what? You're there when you need to be.
Exactly.
How long have you been involved?
Oh, if you go back, probably 1979.
Come on.
Yeah, and earlier.
You started when you were 13?
No, 18.
Oh, no kidding.
18,
really?
Yeah, I did.
Well, Calvin and I spend a lot of time promoting small towns in the North Country, and Rouses Point is very special to all of us.
It is.
Not a bad place to live and work, is it?
It's a good place. Yeah. Very nice place. I lived here all my life. It's good.
You haven't seen the flag yet, have you, when it's up?
I haven't.
It's a big baby.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You get some that's 55 feet long, you better start getting that ladder all the way up there.
That's it. That's for sure.
They'll do it. Well, it's great to talk to you, my friend.
Gordy.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
thank you.
You're the best.
Okay, thanks, Gordy.
Keep the gun loaded.
Calvin, thank you.
See you later.
Okay, guys. Have a
Dennis Roberts has his best white shirt and tie on this morning.
It'll try and look presentable.
Dressing up for the occasion. Dennis is, how long have you been on the village board, Dennis?
I've only been on the village board a year and a half. It's a learning experience, we'll put it at that.
Well, this is a great day in the North Country. We've spent a lot of time promoting this Patriot Flag arrival, talking about it, looking on the internet. People can go and follow its progress through 50 states. And it's pretty neat when it comes to Rouses Point, we think.
Yes, it is something that we can be proud to display. For the reasons of displaying it is saddening, but yet we're proud to display it.
Well, it's important not to forget that kind of anniversary.
That's correct.
September 11th, 9/11, and here we are a decade later. That doesn't seem possible. And there aren't very many people here in Rouses Point or anywhere in our nation who can't remember exactly what they were doing when those planes hit the Twin Towers.
That's correct. Yep.
I was at a conference downstate, And as I walked into the conference, a group of doctors was having their own conference, and there was a sign, terrorism, not if, when. And that's before this happened. An hour before this happened, I said to myself, unbelievable. As the images started to be displayed on a television screen when we walked into our own conference. Wow.
I was at work. I work at Wyeth. I've been there for quite a few years. And basically our plant shut down for the day, and maybe the day after that as well. It was total shock for everybody, obviously.
A lot of lives were lost. There's always an aftermath. An awful lot of first, second, and third responders involved in New York City. There are still lawsuits going on after that because of things that were in the air and things that happened on that day and after. To quote a past president from the World War II era, it's a day that will live in infamy.
That's correct.
And it's important not to forget things like that, and that's why this Patriot Flag is making its tour around the country. So it's pretty important that we spend a lot of time thinking about it and talking about it here, and remembering and working hard in the world to see that this kind of thing never ever happens.
That's correct.
So I know you feel good to be here today.
Absolutely. I've been in the fire department for 27 years.
Have
and
you really?
Yep, this is one of the prouder moments that we have.
Yeah.
And 4th of July, what better weekend to fly it?
Well, that's what I said a few minutes ago. Rouses Point on the 4th of July is the place to be.
The place to be.
It's always been. It's been a tradition. There are great parades and wonderful fireworks displays over Lake Champlain, and tons and tons of people from everywhere.
We're hoping to have a beautiful program this evening, and the community singers will be here as well as our Straw Hatters. They'll be playing right here at the station versus our community stage. But this is where the activities will be for this evening.
Well, and right in the shadow of that wonderful big flag, which will be raised by then, you and I are talking at almost exactly 8 o'clock in the morning, and 1 hour from now, she's going up, baby.
Well, we're hoping she's going up on time. Gordy, unfortunately, St. Paul had a structure fire last night, and but they are in the process of cleaning up their truck and attempting to get it here on time.
Well, it's a good time to talk about mutual aid across the border and across the border with Vermont.
Absolutely.
Right across the bridge here. It's been a wonderful thing for the North Country, the way these departments help each other.
It's the brother and sister helping brother and sister. It's what it's all about. Helping your neighbor.
We've needed them. They've needed
Absolutely.
You over the years, and here you are. It's impossible to count how many fires, but in your tenure here, 20 how many years?
27.
Some major fires.
Some major fires. Yep. My first fire, I think, was the Saxony fire. It was brutally cold that evening.
Oh boy! And what a landmark here in the North Country, huh?
Right.
Goes back to the early rock and roll days for me, back in the early '60s. I'll tell you that. So here we are in 2011. I still don't know whether to say 2011 or 2011, so I flip it in both ways.
There you go. You're covered that way.
But the Patriot Flag is here, and there'll be lots and lots of people. Yes. How many pictures do you think will be taken?
Oh, thousands, Gordy, thousands.
I bet you if you're real close, you won't even be able to get the whole thing in the picture. I tried to download a picture off the internet today of a ladder truck. I got the truck, I got most of the ladder, and the flag went up past that. So my printer said, no, it's too big a picture.
We had St. Paul come over a couple weeks ago, and we had our ladders in place, trying to simulate where we wanted to put our trucks, and we think we have a pretty good plan, and hopefully it will be displayed very proudly.
Will the corners of it hang from 2 trucks? Is that the idea?
That's the idea, yes. It will hang from 2 trucks.
This thing is 55 feet long and 30-some feet wide.
That is correct. It's a big one. It's a big one.
You know, whoever came up with this idea in the very beginning deserves a tip of the hat, don't they?
Absolutely. For us, I believe it was Tom Middleton that made the initial contact with Gary to the village. And obviously, once we were approached, we created a small little spin-off committee from our 4th of July committee to concentrate on the flag ceremony and the presentation and the organization. So it was just a little small knit spin-off committee, and we worked very, very well together. And you'll see the work shortly.
it's good for all of us to have something like this happen, and overall, it's very, very good for a community to host an event like this.
All of Clinton County, and like you say, our neighbors on both sides of the border and over in Vermont, we welcome everybody, and we anticipate we'll have a great showing of our community.
Can't wait to see you go up.
Yep.
You're the man. Thank you, sir. See you later. Guess who's back on camera with me today? Jerry Faber, how are you?
I'm great. This is the best day for Rouses Point.
I heard you were up early this morning.
I was, about 4:30.
Come on.
Yeah.
I was 4:32, but I wasn't about to step out into the real air. I would have fallen off my porch. I start out with a cup of hot coffee, watching the birds off my back deck every morning early. But I was thinking about you, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, I had a breakfast date with some firemen and some Legion members at a local diner at 6:30. So
Good
I had
for
to
you.
be up and getting ready. Yes.
The eggs weren't greasy at all, right?
Nope.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
You've loved history ever since you can remember, ever since I can remember.
I've really become interested since I retired because I have more time to get into it. But my mother was a historian for the town of Clinton for many years.
I did not know that.
Evelyn Watson. So I guess
Son of
it's
a gun.
in my
Wasn't that
blood.
great?
Yes. Yep.
So you're really enjoying it now,
Oh,
aren't
I
you?
love it. Yes, I love it.
How long has it been since you started as historian?
I'm not a historian.
I thought you were the historian.
No, I'm president of the Historical Society.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes.
That's even better. Well, who's the historian here?
Donna Racine. She's our village historian.
You see, I knew that too.
Yeah.
But I'm old, so you have to cut me a little slack in here.
Yeah.
So, but history is important.
Oh, yes, it is. You have to know where you've been to kind of see where you're going.
Well, you know, that's how many times have I said that here, and I wasn't the one that invented that phrase, but if you don't know where you've been, you have no idea where you are and where you're going to go down the road.
Right.
And Calvin keeps that on button going on that camera and has since the early 80s because he realized very early in his life that every moment makes history.
Yes. And the two of you do such a wonderful job to record it all. I mean, if it wasn't for the two of you doing what you do, so much would be lost.
You know, you can appreciate this, but years ago, Calvin and I labored over the thought that someday all of those, in those days, VHS tapes that he had accumulated, thousands and thousands, might be lost. We wondered, how can we ever get them cataloged? How can we ever get them for the national and international public? And then the last couple of years, guess what's happened? The internet has opened up brand new doors thanks to Plattsburgh.com and HometownCableNetwork.com. And I get responses from all over the country and other countries who watch our programs on television. And quite a few of them focus right here on this beautiful little village of Rouses Point.
Well, I watch your shows, but I also watch Bob Venn.
Of course.
You know,
Isn't that
so
great?
it goes back quite a while. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking the other day of somebody. I drove by Feinberg Park because I was a judge at the Altona Old Home Days Parade, and I drive through places and my mind wanders, and I was thinking of the late Bob Feinberg and how when they had a Gordy Little Day downtown after I left the radio business, Bob Feinberg went to Bob Venn's funeral and broke a few speed laws with his Cadillac coming down the Northway to get down there for the speeches, and what a good friend he was. And everything is connected, isn't it? Just like little threads between all of us.
Yes, yep, certainly is. Yep.
So what's the latest with the Historical Association besides this?
Well, we're still got plans for our train station to become a museum. The plans are all made. They're sitting on somebody's desk, I believe, in Albany, and just waiting for final approval. And they're telling us that the bids will go out pretty soon, and then construction will start. And we were hoping to have it finished by next March because George is telling us he's not going to run for mayor again, and we would like to have our dedication before he's done. So, I mean, we'll do what we have to do to make that happen, but that's our biggest project right now. But the Historical Society in a small village, you have a core group of people that are involved in everything.
Well, I know.
This group, this village,
nucleus, as they say.
Yes, this
Sometimes
village-
1 or 2 or 3 people do all the work.
this village has wonderful volunteers, right from the fire department and the Legion and the Historical Society and the stage committee and everybody. You ask them to do something and they step right up, and it's because everybody's so proud of where we live. And I mean, you can see that right on the streets, how people take care of their property, and and they'll be here today, and it's
It's
very
a feel-good
special.
community when
Yes,
you
it
drive
is.
through. Calvin and I are partial to railroads and train stations, and have done a lot of shows on the history of railroads, interconnected with this community like nothing else ever has been.
Right.
And we've been doing a series of programs at the Lion Mountain Mining and Railroad Museum. And to see yours finished will be a dream come true for a lot of people.
Yes. Oh, yes. A lot of people. We've been waiting for this since, I think, the Historical Society was formed in 2000, and we got our charter in 2001. And they've been making plans ever since then. So it's time. Plus, we're getting a lot of things, People are starting to donate things to us, and we need a place where we can display them. And
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
It's also wonderful to see the lake go down, too, isn't it?
oh boy, I guess so.
I
Yes.
was telling Calvin when we got here this morning, last time I came up here, there was water everywhere. You
Yes.
couldn't even drive behind the village offices.
No. Yes.
Did you get any in your historical stuff down there?
No, that's all on the second floor, but it didn't get as far as the office anyway, so yeah.
So here we are, Jerry.
Yeah.
This is a momentous occasion.
It
I called it
certainly is.
auspicious a while ago, and it really is. It's really neat for all of us to be a part of it, isn't
Yes.
it?
It's such an honor for Rouses Point to be a part of this, and to have the flag here and to think about where it's been and where it's going and what it represents, and to have it flying here, and especially on our 4th of July weekend. It
And
doesn't get much better.
special thanks to Tom Middleton
Oh, yes.
for breaking the ground and,
Yes.
and opening that chapter of Rouses Point history.
Yes, yeah.
And I can't wait to salute this beautiful flag later on.
Somebody mentioned that they think this is the first international event that's honoring the flag, because we have
Wonderful.
St. Paul coming.
Of course.
Yes, and he said he says he's not aware of another international event concerning the flag. So I mean, even that is
Well, I followed
special.
its tour around the country, and I think you may be right. I never
Yeah.
thought about it till now. We live so close to the border. Sometimes we're guilty of taking it, in stride and not realizing how important it is to have our neighbors to
Yes.
the north. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that.
And we're very
international event.
Yes,
Great.
and I, personally, I'm very proud, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree to be neighbors with Canada, because they're very good neighbors with us. And at the time of 9/11, when the flights couldn't come into New York, it couldn't come into the U.S., they accepted the flights, and they're good neighbors, and I'm hoping they think the same about us.
I'm sure
Yes.
they do, especially about you, Jerry.
Yeah, well,
Jerry, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you.
here, and thank you for all your
Yes.
hard work on
Yes.
behalf of the people of Rouses Point and its history.
it is history. Yes,
a wonderful
it is.
day,
Yes,
Jerry.
thank you,
Thank you.
Calvin, for coming.
No, this would just be on the local stuff.
Yeah.
They gave us new policies. Hey, you have her shirt and ties on.
Oh, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Gordon. Good to see you
I
again.
forgot how to say your last name,
Mongillo.
Mongillo. And 2 years ago, we covered the ceremony where you took over at the border.
And a lot of people since then have said what a wonderful ceremony it was. As you recall, it was the first of its kind in the North Country, so it was very...
You had your relatives there. You had everybody there. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was nice. And like I say, as I travel throughout, through Canada, Quebec, various meetings and people that have been there, they have talked about it. So it was a landmark for the area port of Champlain, Plattsburgh, and Champlain as well.
It's kind of neat, and we just mentioned a few minutes ago that this may be the first and perhaps the only international event involving this Patriot flag as it goes across the country. We're so close to the border here, that makes it kind of cool, doesn't it?
It actually does. I mean, where we're standing right now, we're probably within a mile, 2 miles of actually the port of Rouses Point. So getting into Canada. So you're absolutely right. It's a very remarkable thing that they're doing, covering 50 states for the 9/11. I mean, because we've all been touched by it in one way or another. We all remember it'll be 10 years here in a few months, but it's touched me personally. I had a high school friend that was on one of the planes that went into the towers.
Oh, Paul, I did not know that.
And at the time, when you see it across the news, when they were showing the names, it didn't click. But actually, a few days, we had at my high school, we had a little memorial to him and his family. So I happened to be living in the area, so I actually went. And I've dedicated my life and my career since then to that family in Pat's honor, because he was such a remarkable man. And like I say, it touches us all differently. And I've been able to do the things that I do, you know, working for Customs and Border Protection. I mean, it is a new dedication, so put in the hours, whatever's required.
It's hard to believe that was 10 years ago, a decade ago in September.
It actually is, Gordon. I mean, I remember that particular day, having been on the internet early in the morning, sawing a picture of the tower with the caption of a small plane. Didn't think much of it, went about my day, because I actually started work at 1400. Was driving to work. As soon as I left the house, I had the radio on. Of course, it's talking about it. I turned right around, went back home, turned on the TV, and saw the enormity of what had happened.
Well, it's wonderful to have a flag that's this huge to commemorate those people who lost their lives, all the first, second, and third responders, and people involved across the nation like you and me who thought so strongly about this event. It's nice to have it in our community here.
Oh, absolutely, Gordon. I mean, it's a wonderful tribute that as you said, coming across from Vermont to here, being right near the international border as it traverses, and to think, you know, New York was touched, yes, in New York City, but all of New York, all of the nation, really. I mean, it's wonderful. And as you know, our mission changed the next day.
Oh, are you kidding me? Forever and ever and ever.
And to this day, I mean, we remain vigilant. We remain each and every day, because we can't take a moment off because of the enormity of what the stakes are at.
We're delighted you moved here.
I'm happy to be here every day as I travel around the country, vacation for work. I always say, the minute I'm out of here, I can't wait to get back, because I enjoy driving to work and seeing 10 cars.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's absolutely wonderful, and it's a beautiful day. I've assimilated. The community is wonderful. They've been very nice to me, and I'm glad to be able to give back.
I love it. Paul, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for all you do.
Have a happy holiday and safe 4th of July.
I think we just heard the St. Paul
I heard a siren in the distance. Yeah, they're on their way. Those guys have been fighting a fire all night, and it's wonderful that they came down here for this occasion.
Brought the ladder truck home and washed it up, and
well, that's right too. Yeah, they probably had to put a hose on the truck to clean it up after the fire.
And of course, it was here a couple of weeks ago for the big fire up on Champlain Street when Sunoco and that little complex burnt up there.
We've had several major fires in the last few weeks in the North Country. It's very, very sad to see the fires take place, but it's also good to see that these volunteer fire departments are Johnny on the spot whenever there's a need. Here they are. Great to see them coming into town.
I knew Lauren Yulee would be on there somewhere.
Signs in French and English for those people who don't know why there would be another language on a fire truck. Because St. Paul is across the border in the province of Quebec. All kinds of people stopping by today, huh?
Off camera, we had a nice little chat with Kim LePan, and her husband Chuck was very much involved. He's over there right now working on the Rouses Point ladder truck.
I thought Kim might be singing tonight, but she wasn't, huh?
My mother Sally Smith is singing.
This will be the logistics of this event right now, from now on till 9 o'clock, will be very interesting to follow, Calvin, as they try to get these ladders up and actually raise the flag. I hope they spend a little time drawing pictures of this on paper.
Well, they've put a lot of time and effort into planning this, and of course they get a lot of advice from people involved with the Patriot Flag. This isn't its first stop, so
oh my goodness,
there's a lot of history of what to do and what not to do.
Raised on a lot of fire trucks in the past. Too bad Tom Middleton couldn't be here to see it.
He'll be here this evening for the 6 o'clock program. So I'll be getting that 6 o'clock program. Then following the 6 o'clock dedication, there'll be the community choir and the Straw Hatters will be performing here. And if I feel real ambitious, I'll go get Danny Rochester and Night Train over at the gazebo.
It's great. It's great to see this kind of excitement, and it's especially great to think of the reason for the Patriot Flag coming to Rouses Point and all the other...
Look at these little ones here.
Oh, I know.
Our friends from Woodman are going to be here, I know, this evening. I'm not sure if any of them could make it this morning. I told them if they're going to be handing out, I think, the small little American flags this evening. So they'll be here making sure that people coming will have a souvenir. Forgive my camera work at home, folks.
That's okay. He's carrying the tripod and the camera, so if it jiggles a little bit, you'll know why.
Do not adjust your sets.
Yeah, I love it. Thank goodness there's a nice wide and lusciously green lawn right to the south side of the Rouses Point Fire Station. Again, for the people just tuning us in, we are in Rouses Point by the Rouses Point Fire Station on July 1st, 2011. An exciting 4th of July weekend made that much more exciting by the arrival of the Patriot Flag, which has been touring our great country since August of 2010 and will end up on September 11th, 2011 to commemorate the loss of all those people when the Twin Towers were struck on September 11th, and the others who died at the Pentagon and in the field in Pennsylvania. And here we are with that great flag. What a wonderful way to honor these people who died, and to honor all the people who respond in the various fire departments around the nation. The responders from New York City, many of the firemen and police lost their lives as part of that whole thing as well, Cal.
Yeah, it's not just for the people who died, it's also for the people who responded, the first and second responders. Obviously, the first responders are from the city or from Washington, D.C. or whatever the circumstances might have been. But also the second responders, and there were some from our county up here in Clinton County that went down and offered their services for the rescue there and the cleanup at 9/11 at Ground Zero.
And it's ongoing now, 10 years later. The memorial is still ongoing at what they call Ground Zero. It's a beautiful day. Look at the skies now compared to 1 hour ago. Get over here, Mr. George. How are you, young man? Good to see you.
Bed in the wheelchair.
Oh, come on.
Listen to what I said.
I heard what you said. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm absolutely wonderful. What a gorgeous day.
You ordered this one early, huh?
No, I talked to Father Clyde about this.
Oh, you did? You must have a better influence than I do. But anyway, isn't it nice to have him here?
Oh, it's beautiful. To me, this is an honor to this village.
Oh, huge honor for this village. I know you've dedicated your life not only to the village itself as mayor, but in the fire service for how many years?
Well, I got to 55 in the department and 14 as mayor.
Isn't that amazing? Well, you're walking and talking, and that's an important thing in this day and age.
And I had a cup of coffee this morning, so I'm doing fine.
Yeah, that's the way I looked at it at 5 o'clock this morning. Get going, coffee. We need you here. But to have the Patriot Flag here is a real big deal. There'll be a nice ceremony here at 6 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
I'm sure it will. Nice to have our neighbors from the north come down, bring their truck down after fighting a fire half the night.
Yeah, I was amazed to hear that this morning.
Yeah.
These are good boys. We have been, ever since they've been in the mutual aid system, they've been one of our biggest helpers on a mutual aid fire.
And I'm sure all the firemen who couldn't be here today wish they were. It's nice to have the Legion involved, the local police department, the border patrol, everybody.
Wait till tonight, you'll see.
They're
all supposed to be here.
I heard you're going to sing a solo.
Solo, you ain't going to hear it.
Maybe not, huh?
Maybe not.
George, it's great to talk to you.
Same here.
Thanks for all your help and all your support of this wonderful little village on the border here.
I hope you have a great day.
We'll do it. You too, George.
Yeah.
perfect? Yeah. I said it on camera. Good for you.
That's our opinion. What's yours?
Yeah, I know, I heard that, yeah. I'll get you a copy, I'll have it. The guys who can't see the copy, they can see it on the internet.
Yeah.
You got time to chat with us right now, or
No, we
you're
got a
busy?
meeting inside or something.
Okay. All right, that was Lauren Yulee. We're chatting with kind of off camera here, but the camera was rolling. Lauren from the St. Paul, Illinois. Of course, you and I went up in that direction a few years back for the tour of Fort Lennox.
Oh, we sure did. What a great date. I think about that often, especially when I go click on that camera, on that show, since it's available
Yeah.
online. Look at this.
Well, we're gonna do
Is this amazing, Calvin?
People are in uniform.
Yeah.
I think we ought to send you up on there to make sure the flag gets hooked up all right.
Get an aerial view of the picture. Yeah, it'd be great. But I'm not going to do it.
You know, I watched those guys at the high-rise buildings in New York City and hotel fires around the world, and not only do they climb the ladder with all the equipment and they go up on the ladder, but then they bring people out of the buildings and bring them down when people don't want to be carried. Oh my goodness.
George, how high does those ladders go?
How high? 85 feet? Well, let me see. The flag's 50.
Let me tell you something, Gordy. You can't go up that ladder because you ain't never going to make it.
I don't think I would either.
I used
Besides, I don't want to.
I used to, but I don't anymore.
No.
No.
Of course, I remember the firefighting days when we didn't have ladders that high.
Yep. Well, our old ladder was 75, and this one's 85.
Yeah, it's nice to have that many aerial trucks in Clinton County these days.
Yes.
Because now we got buildings that are over 10 stories tall in some places, you know?
Well, thanks to the state of New York.
Yeah, oh, that too.
They built all them nice high-rises in the city for the college.
So here we are. We got them both up there, and we got 22 minutes to 0 hour here.
Doing well.
They're having a meeting right now.
Okay, now
strategy meeting.
what's next?
I don't know. We'll find out very shortly. We'll shut the camera off, and chances are those ladders will be right where they are when we shut it off, put it back on.
Yep.
Gordy, as we get closer and closer to liftoff, the crowd just seems to be growing and growing here.
Isn't it nice that the school children are here from some of the local daycare centers? I see them on the lawn in wheelchairs. Public just coming by. I imagine it's possible some people didn't know about the activities happening here today with the Patriot Flag arriving at Rouses Point. It's now exactly 10 minutes before 9, 10 minutes before 0 hour at the time when the flag is scheduled to be raised on these two giant ladder trucks. Something that George Rivers tells us they practiced at least 3 times. Now the flag is being walked out onto the field. And it is nice to see the residents of Rouses Point, visitors from the north and around Clinton County who knew about this event, who found it was historical enough to stay here and come here today to join in this celebration, if you will, or commemoration of things that happened in the past on 9/11. Little children sitting on the lawn, large, huge ropes on both sides. You see coiled ropes behind a St. Paul fire truck on the ground, the blue rope. And then there's blue rope on the left-hand side next to the Rouses Point aerial truck. And Calvin and I are walking slowly toward the center of this field just south of the Rouses Point fire station as we prepare to hook things up.
We got to pull out a 55-foot long flag here, so they're going to be stretching it right out here, Gordy.
Yeah, they have to, as George told us and others did, they have to get enough people to hold that flag so it doesn't touch the ground. There's a lot of protocol involved when you're raising any flag. Calvin and Hometown Cable trucks are here. Hometown Cable camera is here to see the trucks. All the firemen, all the Legionnaires, all the policemen, the border folks, and well-wishers from all around this community taking pictures, standing here and You know, we've seen so many old pictures. You and I love the old historical pictures of things that happened in this area. This is one that'll be around, I hope, for a long time to come.
Yes, it'll be on a lot of people's.
A structure fire. Can you believe it? Lamont. Just exactly what you don't want to happen on a day like today. It's like the St. Paul fire overnight.
Yeah.
There's no predicting those things, Cal.
And but this gives a indication of where we're located here. We're right on the Vermont border, right on the Canadian border, and Lamont is part of our mutual aid. St. Paul, Quebec is part of our mutual aid, and when the late Leo Letourneau used to narrate the parades here in Rouses Point in the Canadian Fire, he'd say hands across the border, and that's what we've got here.
And so we talk about it all the time, and so they'll be going over toward Lamont, which was all but cut off from the real. Be pretty big if they have to put those ladders up there.
You got Junior Moore, Alan Nuttall, Bob St. John, and Paul Mangello.
Going up the ladder here.
And Kevin Stagnon's going up the ladder. A few years back, they were practicing here, and I got Kevin rappelling down the ladder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did that make your stomach go whoopsie-doo?
Not worried about my stomach, it's his stomach. He's a long way.
It is a long ways. 85 feet in the air.
I see him go a lot higher up. Like the fully extended.
You know, the kids are talking about it all around us. We love to see the reaction of the young people, of course. Haven't seen the truck leave yet for Lamont. We'll see how that transpires. They are discussing back and forth. They're uncoiling the blue rope on both sides now, getting ready. You see, he has the blue rope up on the Rouses Point ladder.
Well, they're only going to get one shot at doing it right.
That's exactly right. Volunteer firemen these days are more highly trained than ever. The same is true for emergency medical technicians of all kinds. It's not like the old days when this fire department was formed, where volunteers from the neighborhood came in their street clothes and jumped in an ambulance if they had one. These days it takes a great deal of time. There goes a tanker on the way. It's amazing. All right, we're moving the flag to the middle. We'll attach the cables, and
We're going to have to move. They don't know if they're going to have to move these kids out of here or not.
we don't know. We got
That could be an operation on its own.
now somebody climbing on the Lacole on the St. Paul truck. Up the ladder. That's quite a ways away. They've gone through this entire scenario several times now to make sure they get it right. Nice crowd of people, maybe 50, 75 people are gathered, more showing up all the time, especially as they drive by and see that something is happening here and they want to perhaps capture it for posterity. It's a pleasure for Calvin Castine and me, Gordy Little, to come here with our hometown cable cameras on the first day of July 2011 next to the Rouses Point Fire Station to welcome this huge and most important Patriot Flag to Rouses Point in the North Country as it makes its trip through 50 states and 50 weeks to commemorate the losses and those who helped at 9/11, September 11th, 2001. Now we're fixing the cables on the top. You remember how to tie all those Boy Scout knots, right, Calvin? Oh, boy. Oh, they're doing it right. They've got clevises, and they're going to tighten it down so nothing can go wrong.
There'll also be some, there's grommets, I believe, in the flag so they can tie it.
Oh, I'm sure there will be,
The
yeah.
wind can't catch it, blow it all, really whip it. The flag that size to really catch a lot of wind.
Well, yesterday we had 20 to 25 mile an hour wind gusts, some to 28 miles an hour from the west at my house, and today it's darn near calm, and that's a very positive thing. Here comes the folks from the begin to unfold it. I'm not sure locally, but I don't think we ever had a 50-footer, did we, Calvin?
No, the largest I ever presented was a 5x8.
5x8, that's it. A lot of them fly at our fire station. It's occasion of the Patriot Flag arriving in Rouses Point. Rouses Point over the 4th of July weekend. This event is taking place on the 1st, on a Friday morning, as we approach 9 o'clock right now, 9 o'clock right on the money. It's all started shortly after 7 when the flag arrived, and Calvin was there with the hometown cable cameras to capture it.
As you said at the beginning of this, July 1st is Canada Day for our neighbors to the north, and it's very nice that they are part of this. And as Jerry Favreau said, this could be the only one so far, and might be the only one overall, that includes Canada in this Patriot Flag celebration.
International event, and wonderful. And you know, Canadian friends have always come down to help us celebrate Canada Day and the 4th of July on our side of the border. The huge 4th of July parade, fireworks, and all those events will be taking place on Sunday here in Rouses Point, where the 4th of July parade in Messina, in Plattsburgh on Monday, on the actual 4th of July. It's no small task to get it ready and prepare it for raising, that's for sure. Makes you want to sing with Ray Charles, doesn't it, huh? Yeah. lot of cameras flashing. I almost said flash bulbs, but they don't exist anymore. Here comes the other one down. That's a lot of rope they have on those cables. Once again, for the people who might be just joining us, the Patriot Flag has arrived in Rouses Point today, a momentous occasion for everyone. This is a huge flag, 50-some feet long and 30 feet wide. It weighs over 150 pounds. I'm sure in the box it came in the trunk it weighed more than that. We watched several of the men struggling. Forget it, we're going to move a little closer. There's the group that's been engaged to help hold the flag as it's being unfurled. It's being unfolded now. It's folded in the traditional triangle that you've seen so many times at ceremonies.
Just folding it up tonight will be a process.
I can't even believe it. Imagine this flag will need to be cleaned once this 50-state event is. Look at it. Listen to the people cheer. Unbelievable, huh? That's a good view. The size of the stars and the stripes. Huge. Flag as it's unfolded from its container on the ground. We're here in Rouses Point next to the fire station on July 1st, 2011. That's Old Glory like you may never have seen it before. That's incredible. Now we're gonna unfold it. Hold on tight. Look at this. Wow. We noticed that it's been patched once or twice. The cameras are snapping.
Looks like they've allowed for the 55 feet, but they didn't allow for the 30 feet.
So they're raising the ladders right now.
Okay, they're spreading them out.
Want to separate it?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's smarter than I am, Gordon.
I said they've planned this ahead of time. Listen to the crowds cheering in the background. People love it. I'm watching some of the senior citizens with tears flowing down their faces. We've lived through lots of conflicts and wars. And this old flag means a great deal to us. Look at that. Is that incredible? Ladders are being raised on the St. Paul side. The stretch it out, and it will fly. Absolutely perfect day for this, with some cumulus clouds gathered, bright blue sky, temperatures close to 70 degrees, and just enough wind to make it look great. Instructions coming down for the people manning the ropes, how much to let go.
I don't really see any grommets there that they can tie into.
Not on the bottom. I think that baby's going to fly just like it is,
Yeah,
as
it looks
long as
like
it's here. That's why you see the patches and things in it, Calvin.
Yeah, it's been repaired a few times.
It's been on the road since August of 2010, last year, and it's been through its own wars, in a matter of speaking. Now we're going to roll up some of the cable behind you. It's a masterful creation for sure. What a wonderful day at Rouses Point as we begin our celebration of the 4th of July. We've had less really hot weather than in many years past. Calvin and I have spent some July 4th on parade routes where it was in the high 90s, almost 100 degrees. So temperatures near 70 on this Friday, July 1st, 2011, are quite tolerable, Calvin.
Yes.
Nice day.
Very pleasant day.
Look at this. Isn't that great? And it is good that we've collected a nice crowd from the area, a few outsiders. Not too much media here, but Hometown Cable is on the spot and has been since early morning. We take our hats off and salute the flag. And there you are.
That may be too late. We'll try to get.
Bobby St. John, I've known you for a long time.
Long time, Gordy.
This is
Long
enough
time.
to bring a tear to an old Patriot's heart, isn't it?
It sure does. It really
Take
is.
your hat off and salute that huge flag for the first time.
No, it's real an honor. Real honor.
Now, let's talk a little bit about this great Legion. What post is it?
Montgomery Post 912.
You got it, baby.
All right.
How many members?
We have 225 members.
Well, I know we had about 20 here this morning, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
You know, you wonder when the flag was unfolded from its container whether there would be enough people to hold it.
Yep.
Yesterday we had wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour close to it. Today, just a light breeze.
Right, which is good.
Couldn't be any better.
Well, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
I've seen it on television. I've seen pictures taken of it at various fire stations because it's been on the road for a while.
Yes.
And this flag looks like it's been places and done things.
Yes, it has.
Patches here and there,
Yep.
dirt marks here and there.
In fact, this morning the Coast Guard told us that they had washed it before it came to us.
Come on.
And that's it. It was a little heavier than normal because of it being wet still.
Oh.
So all our gloves are just soaked right now.
I thought maybe these guys are just getting a little old.
No. It was a little bit heavier than because it was water.
I bet it'll dry out real nice.
Oh, it will now. Yes.
That couldn't be better.
Oh.
That couldn't be better. And Actually, the trucks fit perfectly on the side lawn.
Yes, yeah. We, as a committee, we debated where to put it and everything, and we felt that with the way the traffic is coming down Lake Street, that you'd be able to see it from a distance as you're driving down, instead of waiting till it's just in front of the rec center or in front of the fire station, parallel to the road. So
I wouldn't have missed this occasion for
we
the world.
we thank you very much, Gordy.
The
You wouldn't be Calvin.
weatherman cooperated tremendously. Calvin was there when I came off the boat this morning, and here we are. And we're not over yet.
No.
We got something going on tonight.
Yep, we have a ceremony planned at 6 tonight to honor the departed of 9/11, and also to honor the memory of all those in the armed forces that have given their lives, made the supreme sacrifice on the global war on terror. And that all starts at 6 tonight.
And Tommy will be here then. It was his idea originally to try
Yes,
to get
Tom
the flag.
Middleton, yes, and he contacted Jerry Favreau on that and asked, would you like to entertain having the Patriot flag? And as Jerry always is, jump right in, and she said yes, and got a committee together, and we made this happen.
Bobby, you and I talked about this before. You've dedicated just about your whole adult life to this community, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes. Yep.
Why? How does that happen?
I just love it. I just love the community. I love the people that are here, and it's just a warm, friendly atmosphere with everybody. It's a small hometown, but we're a proud small hometown.
How many aspects of community life have you been involved in?
Well, I have been a member of the fire department here. I was police chief here at one time in the village.
Oh yes, how well I remember.
And different civic organizations, and now I'm the commander here of Montgomery Post 912.
Isn't it great?
Oh yes, I love it.
As I said, we were walking over here before the camera turned on. I love it when a plan comes together. This is a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal for us, and now thanks to Calvin and his camera people, we'll be able to watch it for years and years to come.
Yeah, we're proud and that it is here, and it's we've invited a lot of people to be here, civilian, military, legions, VFWs, all the fire and EMS personnel, and we're hoping they show up.
There'll be a good show tonight at 6
I
o'clock.
think so. It will. Yes.
Bobby, thanks so much for all your help.
You're welcome, and we thank you very much for being here and covering this for us.
We're glad to do it, Bobby.
Ready, thank you. All right, bye.
Great job. Lauren, good to see your face again down here on this side of the border.
Well, Jill Besta, it's all his doing with us, getting down here with the ladder, our chief and our mayor, Gerard Dutil, who's been a real helpful person with our floods also. And we had a fire this morning, but we said we'd be here.
What else could happen?
That's good.
It happens, and then the guys here had to go mutual aid to another fire across the lake.
That's what it's all about.
It's been tough with the floods, especially, huh?
Right, we were hard hit. This guy was going 24 hours a day.
Time for a little rest, my man.
Yes. Take a break.
Isn't it nice, though, to come down here with this flag to help our neighbors on both sides of the border together? As far as we know, this is the first time since this flag started going across this country back in August of last year that it becomes an international event with you guys coming down with us. I know how hard it is just to get a truck washed after you have a fire all night.
That's right.
Was it a bad fire?
Yes, it was the third serious house fire in a week.
Come on.
So we were busy.
They say things come in threes, right?
That's right. But it was Canada Day. We got our flag. You got your flag.
Canada Day is very important, and it's great for us to help celebrate because of our big day that's coming up and this huge weekend here in Rouses Point. You spent a few 4th of Julys down here, my man.
Yes, I have. But I'm also a member of the Royal Canadian Legion of Montreal, Branch 127.
Wow.
And we'll be presenting a plaque to the Legion here at Rouses Point in July. So again, the fire department and the Legion are together. So there's not many places you can find that.
You know, we've talked often about our mutual aid across the border. What would we do without being able to help each other?
Yes.
That's the way it's true.
We appreciate your help.
Well, we appreciate yours too, and don't you ever forget it.
We had Rouses Point on standby at our station this week.
Did you really?
At one of the fires. So we have a very close relationship with Rouses Point and Champlain being the closest ones.
Yeah. It's a great marriage on both sides of the border.
This all started way back with George Rivers was the fire coordinator. Now he's the mayor.
That wasn't last Tuesday either.
No, sir.
I've watched George in various capacities here at Rouses Point since he was a young guy and I was a little bit younger myself.
Right. Yeah.
But it's great. It's a good community, and yours is a great community too.
Well, we want to thank you guys for doing this bit for us. As long as Calvin gets me a copy of this so we can show it to everybody.
He might be able to hand that. He's craning his neck backwards right now as we're looking at that flag and guys are climbing up again. Chief, thanks for being here. Thanks for your truck.
Thank you.
Best of everything to you.
Thank you.
I was going to call you old timer, but I don't dare.
No, we're not old. That's only a number.
See you later, guys. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
This flag's going to be famous before the day's over.
You think maybe it will be, and it'll all be responsible at this point. They brought 2 more fire trucks from Rouses Point, including the great old 1960s pumper back there, and they got the firemen and others all lined up for those Kodak moments, as we used to call them. And it is a momentous occasion. It's really nice to have all these people come together. A lot of the spectators have now left us, but I'm sure there will be large crowds returning tonight for the flag ceremony, which is scheduled to begin around 6 p.m. There'll be music, there'll be speeches, there'll be lots of things happening, so I hope a nice crowd will attend. Calvin will be here for that. Maybe I can grab Kevin Shagnon and get him over here to say hi to us. I hear Kim peddling the water in the background. Kevin, you might need some of that.
Yes, I do. It was very hot and very tiresome climbing that ladder.
I watch you. This is Kevin Shagnon. I watch you on the way up. I said, will there be a massive heart attack? Will he make... You had no trouble.
Well, it got hot. By the time I got up there, I was puffing a little bit.
You know, I didn't realize until later that this flag was washed before it came here today, so it was much, much heavier
than we expected. The flag weighs roughly around 73 pounds. Being wet, I would say it was probably close to 90, even close to 100 pounds probably.
With the bag in the box, it's like almost 150 pounds.
Yes.
I watched the guys as they picked it up to carry it over there.
Yes.
Actually looked a little heavier than usual. Now, did you know this morning you were going to climb that ladder?
Yes, I did. We had to prearrange what we were going to do. We had a trial period last Tuesday with St. Paul coming down here with their aerial, and we went through a test run on how we wanted to put the flag up.
You know, I said it about 3 times today. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, I do too.
But I've been through a lot of events where the best laid plans of mice and men don't always come
No,
through.
don't always count on it.
You know, when you count the weather,
Yep.
when you count the low winds,
Yes.
because there was very gusty winds yesterday,
Yes, there was.
that's a lot of flag surface to go flying.
That's like a big sail in the wind. And when it's blowing like that, it takes a lot of pressure to hold it up in place.
Was it neat to be up there to do your part?
It was an honor and a privilege to be here today to have part in this ceremony. Yes, it was.
Well, it was an honor and a privilege just to hold this microphone and watch it all happen. And I know that these plans didn't start last Tuesday afternoon. I mean, this was a long
process in the making. Yes, it was.
Thanks to Tommy, who'll be here tonight, and others who have the big flag ceremony. But
Jerry Favreau from the village.
And Jerry.
She had a big part in this. We want to thank her for helping us get this flag here to Rouses Point.
Isn't it nice? In talking with the guys from from north of the border at St. Paul come down with a truck after fighting a fire all night.
Yes,
to be here for this.
Yes, they've been up for hours and hours fighting a big structure fire. They had to go back to the station, wash their fire truck, then hop on it and come down here through the border to get it down here today for us.
And they've had 3 major structure fires in the last week, the chief told us. So.
Yes. It's they've been right out straight.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good cooperation. It's
very nice.
Nice marriage across the border to have the first, as far as we know, the first international Patriot Flag event of this whole thing where it's going across the country in 50 states in 50 weeks.
That's right. It's going from here to Plattsburgh, then to Plattsburgh to Burlington, and on September 11th, it'll be flown at the World Trade Center site at Ground Zero.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is amazing.
And here we are as a part of the whole thing. Did you ever dream that this day would happen for you?
Never dreamed this in a million years.
It's a big deal. Our special thanks to Calvin for capturing this whole thing.
Yes, we want to thank Hometown Cable for being here today, getting all this on film for us and the viewers throughout the North Country.
We got the new trucks and the old trucks.
Yes, we do.
Well, this is quite a picture right here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a great picture.
Kevin, you're the best.
Thank you very much for your time.
If I ever need a mountain climb, you're the guy to go to the top for.
Thank you.
See you later, Kevin.
Take care.
Yep. Well, you couldn't, if you were the best graphics designer in the world, you couldn't come up with a better design that we have as a backdrop for our program in Rouses Point today. It's July 1st, 2011. The Patriot Flag is here. It's been a momentous occasion for Calvin, myself, and dozens or hundreds of people who've been here to help celebrate this great event and to remember what happened on September 11th, 10 years ago. That concludes this portion of our coverage. Calvin will be back for the tremendous flag ceremony tonight with music and speeches and whole things and many things right here at the scene of the Patriot Flag in Rouses Point. Our special thanks to all the groups who are here today. Some we've talked to and some we haven't. You know who you are. We know how much planning and cooperation goes into sponsoring and putting together an event like this in a small community on the border of New York State. Thanks to everybody who watches the program. Thanks for the people who give us suggestions, and a special thanks for the people who care enough about Hometown Cable and our little corner to send us a check every now and again to Calvin Castine Hometown Cable on the Ridge Road in Champlain. It's how we'll continue this, we hope, far into the future. With our salute to the flag, the Patriot Flag in America, I like to say, who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.